Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Tempo, and in this video I'm going to be trying something a little bit different than my normal videos, which is usually just a montage with a few decent clips in it and some gameplay near the end. Today we're actually going to be analyzing a competitive game from a player by the name of Meltz. I'm not 100% sure if he's a PC player or a controller player on console or mouse and keyboard, but either way we're going to be analyzing his gameplay, seeing how he plays, seeing how he rotates, and seeing what he does in contested situations. This is just something new I'm trying out, so I hope you guys enjoy. So as we can see right here, Meltz rotated to the rig. This is where he originally landed at, and he rotated back out towards little shanty town right outside of rig to the north of it. Notice that there is a player named Talon Claw right in front of him. You can't actually see the name. Gets heavy sniped in the back, but the player misses, so he builds out behind him to protect himself. Very smart play, very smart decision from Meltz. Decides to push out to the left to gain some more mats. Blocks off his side, just in case the heavy sniper tries to go for another shot. Just to let you guys know, this is post commentary. Pulls out the RPG, goes for a quick shot with the RPG so that he can then gain height. After gaining height on this player, Meltz makes a good decision, trying to pressure this player again, getting his RPG shot off once again, trying to go for the pump shot really quickly. Doesn't get off though, but does notice that the player takes fall damage, drops down, and continues to try and pressure this player, not really allowing him to get any heals in. Good aggressive play from Meltz. In this situation, you don't want to go too high up, because then you could potentially lose track of the player that you are trying to go after. But Meltz makes a good decision by dropping down on this player and continuing to pressure him, trying not to let him get any heals off. Meltz reloads his RPG to potentially get another rocket off. Blocks off his front end from AK to make sure that he does not get heavy sniped. Now right here, what I would have done, as you can see there, Meltz did a good job at taking that player out. But right there, what I would have done when going for that floor break is, instead of letting the other player place his floor, I would have gone for the replace, so that I would have had the control, piece control in that whole fight, so I could have dictated what would have happened easier. Instead, Meltz went for 50-50 and came out with shield and another big pot to spare. So either way, it was a win-win for him, and he got a few extra builds. And of course, he got the 4 points off the limb. Right here, Meltz is coming right off the shanty town, going straight north, going over by the other obelisk setup. Just gathering some more mats. Nothing too exciting. I'm not sure if Meltz noticed AK right there, because he did pull out his AR, but he did not go for any tags or any shots. He was looking to what I think is the southwest to check out any fights that were happening, because there was a current fight going on right outside of Lumberyard. In this clip, I am doing an overlook on his battle rotation. He came straight from battle bus all the way down to rig, landed at rig somewhere around the center, hopped around from spot to spot, went off of rig to go get TNT, grab the vault key, and then come back. After doing that, that's how he ended up getting a lot of shield. He didn't really get any tags off of rig or anyone to really contest him, except for two other players, but they didn't try and challenge or 50-50. He rotated straight up from rig, got into another fight over at Shantytown, and then went basically straight to zone. Alright, so right here is a clip of Meltz getting into a fight with Extra Quinn. Meltz decides not to go for shots on Extra Quinn, instead take the sneakier approach. And Extra Quinn has no clue going into this fight. He basically blocks himself off and gives Meltz free loot and free match refresh. That was a pretty easy fight for Meltz. He didn't really take any damage at all. At least I don't think I saw him take any damage. It was a pretty easy 50-50. He decided to trade out the 3 big pots for the shield in that situation. Or for the floppers, excuse me, in that situation. Which is a pretty smart move if you want to make a storm play. He's sitting very good on mats. He has 500 brick, 500 wood, access brick right there that he can still pick up, and posts up right outside looking for any picks that you could potentially get with that heavy snipe. Here I skipped ahead a little bit because it was nothing but Meltz rotating forward towards Holly. He gets contested really quickly by Assault John, it looks like. Seems like he may have a YouTube channel, but that fight doesn't really pop off. John just goes for a quick tag on Meltz. After that engagement, Meltz decides that he's just going to base up right here, right at edge of zone, sitting in a pretty decent spot. Not too many players around him, just looking around for any potential picks, tags that he can get. Meltz, here's the RPG, watching the south. Just waiting for a player to make a mistake so he can get that heavy snipe in and get a beam in on him. Looks like he's aiming on the baby meat. That's a strange name. Goes for the heavy snipe, gets 1 tag off. Notice he has shield, instantly resets the wall and edits the triangle. Meltz decides he doesn't want to really try and challenge that, knowing that that player could potentially have 200 HP. Continuously looks around for any potential picks. Meltz starts his rotate, and when rotating back there, he can clearly see the player Kuryu, but decides not to take any shots, which is a smart play on Meltz because he has no clue how much HP and how many mats this player right next to him could have. Here's the player pop down a low ground and dip off behind him. Goes for the shot on AK Rig, but misses the snipe. Right here, Meltz is in a pretty open position, leaving his top open like that. And as you can see, Assault John takes advantage of that by going for some quick burst shots and getting rid of Meltz's shield. If he had big pots with him, he could have gotten back up to 200. But he opted to take the heavy snipe and the floppers instead. In this situation, it's not a very good look for Meltz, because right now he's sitting in between 2 players, one that's continuously shooting him in the back for a pick, playing very aggressive, another one that's in front of him that he's trying to get. But he decides to rotate up towards this little base right next to 2 other players and post up and set up right here. Meltz is still sitting pretty good on mats right now. And now right here we can see an overview of the position that Meltz is sitting at. He's sitting basically right at the edge of zone. You can see there's 4 players pretty close around him. Actually 5, because AK Rig is set up in that little wooden shack right across. 2 players right next to him to potentially both spray and grief him, but I'm pretty sure that they don't. I don't remember all of what happens in this gameplay. This is post commentary after all. But setting up right here isn't really the best decision. Yes, it puts you right next to other players, but there's also the potential for both of those players to decide to grief Meltz. In this situation, Meltz is going for a quick rotate, taking the short pad that the other player put down in his tower, going off towards the left side. Meltz goes right next to a pre-built tunnel. Potentially could have used the old builds as more cover, but he goes up 1 to 2 layers. Meltz is now just sitting, holding walls, expanding his base. He hears all the launches coming in, but Meltz decides not to look for any picks. Now Meltz looks for a pick on Assault John. Doesn't get any tags off. Notices AK Rig pull up right next to him, but decides not to make the edit on that cone just in case that player get a quick 1-tap off on Meltz. Meltz doesn't realize that he's at 43 shield. Assuming, decides to rotate out and take a launch pad straight to zone. Lucky for Meltz, no one decides that they want to try and laser him. Meltz then holds his builds, sits up right next to XX02, who tries to go for some quick tags with a minigun, but misses. Meltz opens up the edit and gets a tag on Vanish, but only a 70 headshot. Meltz, looking for more picks, decides to rotate out, and this is where I think Meltz made his mistake looking for early picks, because it puts him in a situation where he quickly gets beamed right in front, and a player gets a chance to come up right behind him, and Meltz gets melted. Now, this is an overview of me going back over the situation. There's 2 ways this could have gone. Meltz could have gone this way and went straight to low ground since he didn't have that many builds. As you can see, he only has 26 with them. But this is a bad situation because there's a player right in front of him looking for picks, and there's a player rotating late right behind Meltz. So he could have gone low ground but potentially gotten lasered by that other guy, or instead of rotating left side of his box, he could have decided to rotate to the right side of his box. Now, in doing so and rotating to the right side of his box, he could have gone through open builds, been less contested because, as you can see, most of the players are sitting from low ground to a few scattered mid ground, but mostly low ground. Could have rotated right side of his box, gone through old builds, got some easy picks, potentially lasered someone in the back, and also gotten a refresh on mats and HP. But Meltz chose not to. Could have potentially come around, gotten a pick on Squishy, TT9 Squishy, who looks to be at 200 HP. Meltz could have also rotated low ground on right side or even left side to potentially waste less mats or not have to use any at all and get straight through builds. Potentially get some picks that way to get a quick refresh because he's only sitting at 143. That's all I can really see from Meltz's gameplay. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed that quick analysis of a player's competitive game in the Invitationals, the solo Invitationals for round 1, day 2. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like. If you didn't, then leave a dislike. It's up to you. Drop a sub if you enjoy the content. Leave a comment. I always react to every single one of my comments that I put on my videos. And see you later. It's like 10 at night and I need to go to sleep. Goodbye.